Welcome back to the channel, where right now it is time to review a Christmas movie. Now, up front, I go ahead and actually give you my recommendations so that you can go ahead and actually not waste your time, but hopefully you stick around to go ahead and actually see how I justify my recommendations. My recommendations for Christmas movies are like this. It could be an instant Christmas classic. It could be just good enough to go ahead and actually sit on down and have cocoa on one winter night. It's good enough to go ahead and actually have on while you're wrapping presents in the background. Or you should probably put it in the stocking as cold for the bad kid because it's not worth it. So those are my categories. And for Meet Me Next Christmas on Netflix, my recommendation is for a target audience, meaning that you love rom-coms, you love Christmas rom-coms especially. I'm going to go and actually tell you that this is one that you want to go and actually watch on one of those winter nights. For casuals, oddly enough, I'm going to go and actually give it the exact same rating. It's one that you want to go ahead and actually watch on one of those cold winter nights. You want to know how I got there? And you're going to have to stay tuned, and I'll let you know how. Meet Me Next Christmas is a Christmas rom-com movie that premiered on Netflix in November of 2024. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 46 minutes, and it stars Christina Milian as Layla. If you don't know who Christina Milian is, she's a singer-songwriter, and she's probably most known for, outside of her songs, to being in the movie Be Cool or Pulse. It also stars Devale Ellis as Teddy. You may know him from being in many episodes of Sisters, and actually started a lot of episodes of Zatima. And it also has Tamika Tafari as Roxy, and she's well known in the voiceover work and a lot of different things. So they're not so much live action, but she's the third build star in this particular movie. I would be remiss if I didn't go ahead and actually send a shout out to the members of Pentatonics as exaggerated versions of themselves. And so those are some roles that you want to go ahead and actually see as well. Now, the story for this one goes as follows. IMDb has it like this. In pursuit of a fairy tale romance with the man of her dreams, Layla must race through New York City to get her hands on the hottest ticket in town, the sold-out Pentatonics Christmas Eve concert. So, that's the premise of it. And just go ahead and actually just kind of, because Christmas movies, it's a bunch of checks or minuses in order to kind of figure out if you're one of those fans or not. If it's a Christmas movie, I'm in, so you get a plus on that. It's a rom-com movie. Those are hit or miss for me. It's like meh. So I won't say plus, but I won't say minus either. Little known actors. I mean, I know of Christina Milian in passing or what have you, but she's not really big to me. And the rest of the actors I really did not know. So that's going to be a minus for me. Not really liking, that I don't really know the actors. The production level on it, when you watch the trailers and things like that, you go and actually say it looks like a notch above like a regular Hallmark movie or what have you. So there's a little bit more money involved into it, but is that really something to go and actually hang your hat on? Not really to me. That's kind of like meh on there. So I go ahead and actually just position myself as I'm a casual viewer for this particular series on there. I am not the target audience for this. The reason why I say that is important is because you should always know the perspective of your viewer when taking that in consideration of if you're going to watch or not. So you have my bias there. Now, knowing that, you'll now know that I go ahead and actually watch movies, and I watch them to let you know if they're worth your time. If you like how that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now let's get into Meet Me Next Christmas. So after watching a movie or a series or anything like that I review, I like to go ahead and actually give people a perspective on what other content is this very similar to, so you can kind of work your frame of reference around that. And I'm going to go ahead and actually say that this particular movie is an amalgam of An Affair to Remember and then a little bit of Your Christmas or Mine. And the reason why I say that is because the large majority of this plot is really very much like An Affair to Remember, as far as the meeting your soulmate or what have you and trying to pursue them and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of that element. But then there's also the meeting of the family, kind of the awkward aspects of that during Christmas. And there's a good balance between like the comedy and romance on here, but it leans more towards comedy and things of that nature on here. But at least those movies will kind of give you a vibe of what this particular movie is like. So we go ahead and, as always, I go ahead and actually review two elements and really kind of give you some of the details on there. First and foremost, storytelling. Storytelling for me in this particular series is a C plus. The first and foremost, the first 15 to 20 minutes of this movie had me worried that this was going to be as boring as ever. There was nothing compelling about it. There was nothing entertaining about it. The story and the script was just dragging, and the characters at that time kind of seemed like aggressively boring. Like it was just, there was nothing good about them at all. Once we get into the second act and pursuit of the ticket that they talk about in the synopsis, that's when this movie becomes something a little bit more. It becomes entertaining, and even at points it becomes charming, and that's what you're looking for in something like this, where you're just like, if you're going to go ahead and actually be one of those rom-coms on there, you have to go ahead and actually hit that comedy or entertainment aspect of it sooner rather than later. You don't want to drag that out. And so once we hit that second act, we were off and running. Now, one of the things that I can't go ahead and actually escape or ignore is that there's plenty of plot holes in the story. That it doesn't take too much brain power to see the plot holes and experience them and kind of wonder about them. You will have to go ahead and actually numb your mind to that in order to get enjoyment out of this. But the pacing in here is pretty good. They don't linger on scenes too often. The comedy, while it's not like, slap your knee type of comedy that you're going to bust out laughing and say, oh, this is comedic geniusness or anything like that. Geniusness, it's not a word, but hey, it sounds great. But this is one where you will often go ahead and actually crack a smile. You may laugh out loud and a couple different things on there, but it is entertaining and charming. And you like a lot of the scenes that happen in the second act really kind of get this movie going and make it watchable for you. The third act was fine, but honestly, the second act is where everything is happening and it endears yourself to it. And so if you watch that second act, either you love the movie at that point or you really like it at that point, or you're going to hate the rest of it. Because that's the strongest part of this particular movie. But with all that being said on there, because it's not the plot holes are ridiculous, and things like that, the pacing is good or what have you. C plus I think is about the right grade for that. For acting, I'm gonna go and actually go a B minus on this. Separately, the leads were not great. They were just like, they're kind of like kind of characters. You don't like them in scenes by themselves when they're acting off of other supporting actors and things like that. They don't seem to be that great of characters, but as a couple, they're pretty believable and they're pretty cute at times. And so when they're on the screen together, you kind of somehow they got it, it's the sum of them as a couple that really kind of makes you believe in this movie more and you really like it or what have you. And I think that's a credit to them casting those two together over there. They probably did some good screen testing and it works on screen. I will say that the romantic lead, DeVale Ellis, is better than Christina Milian in most scenes because he just, I don't know, he just works with it a little bit better. Her character was kind of the worst written out of all the characters in the movie. It's not that she was horrible per se, but I just don't like where some of the things that they wrote her in to do and say and all this kind of stuff, just it was kind of a little bit too much or what have you. So I think the male lead character was a little bit better. But really what goes ahead and actually makes this a better movie is that the supporting actors make this movie way more fun to watch. As Pentatonix and their manager have some funny roles and bits in here that make it very watchable, and they cracked up a couple different times with them. Kaylin Allen as Jordy killed me. He as the cousin was just hilarious, and that was really one where you're just like, okay, I can vibe with that. And there's some other supporting actors in there that did a really good job too. So the supporting actors and their level of comedy elevated this up, where I'm going to go ahead and actually be okay with giving this a B minus. Overall, my last thoughts on this particular movie, this is a movie that holiday rom-com audiences can watch with their partners and friends, and they're not going to be mad at you for watching it. Okay. The reason why I say that is that they're not going to be impressed by the story, and they're definitely going to have to get through the first 20 minutes or so and hopefully that their eyes don't roll into the back of their heads. But once you get that going, you get into that second act and it gets going, there's enough fun and charm in this for everyone, and it'll be okay as a holiday rom-com that everyone's going to be fun and have a little bit of smile to. It's a notch better than the cookie cutter movies that you see around on this during this time of year. And so let's just go ahead and actually be thankful that it's not a cookie cutter one. This one has a little bit more fun to have with it. So again, for main target audience members and casuals, go ahead, watch it on one of those cold winter nights, and then I think everybody will have a good time with this. But that's what I have for Meet Me Next Christmas on Netflix. Check it out. You stay for the entire review. I appreciate you. I really do. Do me a favor. If you liked anything on this video, click like, share, subscribe. And if you're not quite convinced yet to go ahead and actually like it or share it or, God forbid, subscribe, go ahead and actually check out one of my other reviews. And then maybe it'll go and actually convince you to go ahead and actually do one of those things for me. But until the next time, I'll holler at you. Have a happy holidays, and I'll talk to you later.
I know how you feel about all this Christmas business, getting depressed and all that. It happens to me every year. I never get what I really want. I always get a lot of stupid toys or a bicycle or clothes or something like that. What is it you want? Real estate.